Well everyone, 29th of April 2019, and I've not filmed an awful lot in the last month simply because all I've been doing is cleaning, and frankly weather's been pretty horrible, and it's been cold, especially this last weekend where we had a massive gale, one of the worst gales I've ever known in April. It's also, we're all eagerly awaiting the arrival of the latest family member, or extended family member in my case, and but I don't know what it's going to be just yet. And I've just thought about the centenary this year when my father first started motoring, and the new arrival's great-grandfather. His first motoring vehicle was a very early BSA motorcycle with sidecar, and he later moved on to a Norton combination as well. And on that combination, that used to go down to Devon, to Linton and Lynmouth, with my grandfather perched on the back and grandmother in the sidecar, and that would take them about 2 days to do apparently by Gloucester. And he later moved on to a 1923 Austin 7 Chummy, which you'll have to look up if you want to know what that is. And from then on, none of us, or the male members of the family, have been without a car or a vehicle of some sort. In fact, it wasn't until no lady member of the family, as far as I'm aware, drove till about the late 1960s, early 1970s, and that was my cousin's wife, Rosemary. And we've, as I say, we've always had vehicles since 1919. His son David, he went into the motoring world, and though I've not heard from him for a long time now, so if anyone knows a David Godsall or a Benjamin Godsall, please point them in this direction, because we would love to hear from them again. Okay, so what we're going to do today, well, as you can see, I've started reassembling the various items. I did the far bank cover yesterday, and that's put a new gasket on. Cleaned it, put a new gasket on, and I've cleaned up the manifolds. As you can see in other films, I've overhauled the injectors, which took quite some time to do, but unfortunately I was able to do it inside the workshop. So today I'm going to reassemble the throttle tower, this piece here, and basically just 4 bolts holding it to the top of the head. Then we'll have a go at doing the sorting out the putting a new coil in, and reassembling the distributor cap with a new cap and new leads. That'll probably take all day now, and part of tomorrow, knowing me. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Just 4 bolts. Also, before I remember, magnetic parts holders, well worth investing in. Not expensive, 2 or 3 quid a piece, come in various sizes, but well worth having. So let's put the easiest ones in. Before I forget, I need to put some Loctite on them. stops them coming loose, because obviously with into an aluminium hole you can't torque it up very much. So this stuff is very expensive stuff. As opposed to, and in fact it does, because I've used it for a long time, stop bolt nuts and bolts coming adrift. There we go. All I've got to do now is take that top off and not lose too much while I'm doing it. Better not do it there, do it on the up. Oops, there we go. Keep the top handy, we don't want to lose any. As you can see, these are quite strong. You won't lose anything. If you put anything in there, you won't lose it, even upside down. Just give it a bit of a squeeze. Come on. There we go. You only want a little bit on the end of the, thread. Screw it in. Best I can do for now. All those awkward ones. I think we might go and change the camera. Well, here we are, it's the afternoon of the 30th of April, and we're still awaiting the arrival of the newest member of the family, or the extended member of the family at any rate. It's now 5 o'clock and there's no sign of anything happening at present. Yesterday you could see I was putting on the tower there for the throttle tower, and I've also fitted a new condenser, updated condenser coil I should say, and I've just removed the rotor arm off the distributor, only to find it's a little bit rusty there, and I'm a bit concerned about that. In the meantime, I've been fitting new leads into the distributor, and that was a bit of a struggle at times. You see it's a bit like the Gorgon's head. I also dropped the small carbon piece that rests on top of the rotor arm. And it's a good job I had just heard it go, because I've never noticed otherwise. I'd probably fitted it and wondered why the car wouldn't start. Whoever does. So now I'm going to fit the rotor arm, and or the new one. That's the new one, that's the old one, and you can see there's been a bit of corrosion and burning going on there, and on the end was sort of done. The spark much good. So let's put the new one on. Now first of all, what I'm going to put a bit of grease, if I can find some, on the end of that rotor, or even a titchy witchy bit of oil, just to stop any oil, any corrosion. Just a bit of clean engine oil, just rub it around the edge there and down the side, no more than that. I want this corrosion to increase. That's all we need, just a touchy amount. Wipe any excess off, of course. So now we put the new one on, and it's as per normal really. There's a slot on the far side there, and you just line it up with the slot in the top of the arm, and hopefully it will go on without so much trouble. Indeed it does. Wowee. Now, what I've got to do now is find a rubber gasket there, which I know I've got somewhere. I'll have to stop filming while I go and find it. Well, today is the 16th of May, and I'm just starting to renew more of the fuel hoses, and I'm going to replace them with this braided rubber hose of the right size and the right quality, of course. So we've got modern petrols or modern fuels tend to rot the rubber, and in case this one is rock hard. You see, this is the old one, and you might want to know what this little aluminium piece is here. Well, that's the part number and the date it was manufactured. In this case it was the 4th of January 1988. So what we have to do is to cut this ferrule off, which unfortunately it doesn't seem to be able to replace, so we're replacing it with one of these clamps or clips, which is a bit untidy in my view, but I'm going to have to put up with it, I'm afraid. So I'm going to show you how I do it. Not necessarily the correct way of doing it, but it's the way I do it. Okay, just going a bit closer now, and well, what we have to do is clamp the hose firmly in a vise. We have to make a diagonal cut across, or what I do anyway, make a diagonal cut across the ferrule, and then we have to, or two cuts actually, then we can lever it off, and I'll just show you how to do that. I'll put my right glasses on. And bang. We're using a junior hacksaw. I'll have to reposition that because it's a bit low. Reposition it again. So just move it 180 degrees or thereabouts. And make another incision. Now we've made the incision, all we need to do now, hopefully, is get a pair of cutters in my case. Actually I should use a screwdriver and just lever it up a wee bit, try not to stab myself. There we go, off it comes. And as you can see, that as this is not being this end's not being affected by the petrol. That's from here onwards. It has been. It's rock hard. This end is still quite soft. And you can see the marks there when held in. And it's this fitting here that we need to ensure that there is no damage to. So I do it diagonally. That looks okay to me. Now what we have to do now is take a slurp of coffee, if nothing else. Is to fit it onto the end of this, on the end of the new pipe. But first of all, I've got to measure it, and I'll do that later and come back to you. Okay, I've unravelled the right size pipe, and or hose I should say. What I've got to do now is measure. I'll take this piece of padding off. I'm not sure what it does really, but I'll have to put it back on just in case it's required. Some kind of heat shield, I think. Come out there for a moment. So just measure it off against the oil pipe. And that comes to about there. Doesn't have to be exact, I suppose. Back into the vise. Clamp it up. A bit of space. And you can see it made a bit of a mess of the end, and we have to use the cutters to tidy it up a wee bit. Need to get the clamp over the end and makes things a wee bit better. Not entirely so, but it's better than it was. Fitting gun. The thing with this here was that the other end of it actually is a dual pair, so I'll come to that one later. Let's see if we can get that up. Not too much bother. But try and open the hose out a wee bit, clamp out. There we go. Well, it's the other end we want, isn't it? What does it mean? Things up. So what I'll do now, I'll just go around tidying that end up using the clamp as a guide, and I'll come back to you. Okay, I've got this tidied up now, and what I've got to do is get the fitting back in. I've got to get some lubricant for it. Help it slide in. Open it in. So a dollop of Vaseline on there. Petroleum jelly, all the mix available apparently. Just see how it goes in. Oh, that was a bit of a struggle. It's gone on, more or less. So I've just bring the clamp up. Take as far as you can to the end. Then you can use the edge of the clamp then just to tidy those wires up, which is a bit untidy as it is. I'll come back in a minute.